This is Radio Taiwan International.
Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Phil Laskowski coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at the day's top stories for Thursday, December 11th. Nuclear Security Committee says restarting third power plant is possible under certain conditions. France can support Ukraine and stay silent on Taiwan, says French scholar. And Taiwan's defense minister responds to U.S. defense games resulting in defeat. But first, today's top story. Economic Minister Gong Mingxing said on December 1st that the third nuclear power plant could resume operations as early as 2028 if progress goes smoothly. In response, Nuclear Safety Commission Chairman Chen Mingzhen told lawmakers at the Education and Culture Committee on Thursday that a restart is possible if four conditions are met. Taipower submits a complete review report, responds promptly to comments, passes on-site inspections, and does not need to replace major components. The Economic Ministry has already approved Taipower's assessment of the current state of its nuclear facilities, confirming that both the number 2 and number 3 plants could be restarted. Taipower will conduct internal safety checks and plans to submit a reactivation plan to the Nuclear Safety Committee by March 2026, according to Gong. When asked by KMT lawmakers whether he agreed with the 2028 timeline, Chen said the commission would strictly review the application in accordance with its duties.
It's difficult for me to give a definite schedule, but if Taipower's review report is complete, if it quickly responds to our comments, if our on-site inspections find no problems, and if there are no major components that need to be replaced, then of course it is possible.
Regarding environmental oversight, Chen noted that radiation impact assessments already fall within the Commission's responsibilities. He added that any separate environmental review should be requested by Taipower under existing law. French President Emmanuel Macron visited Beijing and Chengdu this month for his fourth visit to China during his presidency, according to a Central News Agency report published this Wednesday. Emmanuel Lincot, a senior research fellow at the French Institute for International and Strategic Affairs, says that as France strongly supports Ukraine, its stance would be inconsistent if it remained silent regarding Taiwan. Lincot says France's decline has led Beijing and a larger part of public opinion to believe that France is an outdated country with low political efficiency, lackluster economic performance, and limited international influence. He cited Macron's failed attempt to prevent Chinese President Xi Jinping from supporting Russia as one example of this. Regarding Taiwan, Lincoln says France has fallen into a trap of self-contradiction. While as far as international law is concerned, France only recognizes the One China principle, so it cannot openly support Taiwan. China's assertive actions now threaten France's interests and those of its overseas territories, he underscored. Lincott explained that the risk lies in the possibility that China might jeopardize the free movement of people and goods in some waters it seeks to protect, violating international maritime law and threatening the strategic interests of relevant countries, including France. Even if France is unlikely to resort to military action, it is difficult to imagine France remaining aloof from its obligation to the Indo-Pacific region and the US, he added. While Macron's trip aimed to rebalance bilateral trade, Lincott said he believes progress has been limited and the goals are questionable. He says the evolution of Taiwan's status and France's continued advocacy on human rights are equally important, yet French diplomacy hasn't given them sufficient attention. Lincott argues that France must rely on allies both inside and outside Europe, and France must be prepared to take decisive measures such as imposing tariffs on Chinese products or exerting pressure in specific areas with the support of Japan and South Korea. The New York Times published the Overmatch Brief this Monday, warning that the United States is far behind China in its preparations for new types of warfare and that multiple Taiwan Strait war games have resulted in U.S. defeat. At the Legislature this Thursday, Defense Minister Wellington Koo said the documents cited are classified, leaving the ministry unable to confirm their full contents, but stressed that peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific is a core U.S. interest. Koo added,
The U.S. also hopes to collaborate with countries in various regions, especially those in the first island chain, to achieve effective deterrence. Everyone needs to strengthen their defense capabilities. Taiwan, being at the forefront of the first island chain facing the threat from China, naturally needs to strengthen its self-defense capabilities even more. This is why we proposed a special budget.
American Institute in Taiwan Director Raymond Green previously affirmed that President Lai Ching-te's proposed $39.9 billion defense special budget is an important step in promoting peace through deterrence. Koo said that Defense Ministry's position is consistent with Green's explanation. He said Taiwan will seek deterrence through strength and peace through deterrence. Women's groups welcomed the Cabinet's approval of draft amendments to the Assisted Reproduction Act, saying the changes mark significant progress for women's reproductive autonomy. The Cabinet on Thursday approved revisions expanding eligibility for assisted reproduction to single women aged 18 and older and to female spouses in same-sex marriages. Surrogacy, one part of earlier drafts, was removed from the current proposal due to medical, ethical, and political controversy and will be handled separately. Advocacy groups said the changes correct long-term gaps in Taiwan's reproductive laws, which currently restrict access to heterosexual married couples. Many single women who froze their eggs have been unable to use them unless they marry, a limitation that women's organizations have long criticized. Taiwan's Women's Link founding chairperson Huang Xuying said that amendment effectively opens assisted reproduction to nearly all women, strengthening reproductive autonomy and potentially helping alleviate Taiwan's demographic pressures. Awakening Foundation Secretary General Jun Yurong said her organization has consistently urged broader access to assisted reproduction and considers the cabinet drafts more comprehensive than previous versions. The proposal also requires pre-procedure assessments evaluating the best interests of donor-conceived children. Taiwan LGBT Family Rights Advocacy Executive Secretary Li Ruiping said evaluators must receive gender equality training, noting that the past public hearings, including misinformation and discriminatory claims about single mothers and LGBT families. The amendment would also expand donor information disclosure, allowing intended parents to learn limited details such as nationality, blood type, and skin tone before treatment. The Taiwanese community in Brazil held a Christmas charity event this Tuesday in Sao Paulo, donating 5,060 food baskets to over 40 organizations. Around 150 people were in attendance, including Taipei Economic and Culture Office in Sao Paulo Director Angeles Zhu, Brazilian politicians, police officers, businessmen, charity representatives, community leaders, and other guests. Huang Xiuli, who started the event, said the Taiwanese community in Brazil has upheld a spirit of gratitude and giving back, and that they aim to bring warmth to impoverished families during the Christmas season. Also in attendance was Paraguayan ambassador to Brazil Luis Fernando Avalos, who praised Taiwan as Paraguay's most friendly diplomatic ally and thanked the Taiwanese community for its assistance that also benefits the Paraguayan expatriate community. Aparecido Chavez de Sousa, Deputy Director of the Security Department in Sao Paulo, and City Councilor Marcio Kenji Ito both stated that Taiwanese community's compassion is worthy of emulation and promotion by Brazilian society. Zhu said this event acts as a bridge of friendship between Taiwan and Brazil, showcasing the philanthropic power of overseas communities. President Lai Ching-te attended the Taiwan Global Pathfinders Initiative, one of his key youth policies organized by the Education Ministry's Youth Development Administration. The event on Thursday highlighted how 1,463 young people realized their international dreams with government support under the slogan, "Dare to Dream, We Are Your Team." Lai expressed pride in seeing so many young students achieve their goals with government backing. The Education Ministry announced that next year's program will introduce a Dream Boost scheme, reserving 300 spots for indigenous, disadvantaged, and rural youth to ensure more can pursue overseas opportunities without worries. Lai encouraged young people, parents, and teachers to visit the event site to see how ideas turn into plans using government resources. Participants shared experiences of cultural inspiration, reaffirmed career paths, and gained future visions. The ministry said the new scheme was added after analyzing this year's participants to better support indigenous, rural, and economically disadvantaged youth. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Phil Laskowski. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Cash for everyone. The government is giving out 10,000 NT dollars. It's easy to claim. Choose direct deposit, ATM, or post office. Check details at the official website 10,000.gov.tw or 10000.gov.tw or call the free hotline at 1988. Stay alert. Don't trust unknown sources. This advertisement is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance.